Good morning. It's E from MarketWizards.com and eMiniWizard.com, and it is about 9:21 on the 6th of March, 2019. Reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose if you are playing this game. One of the most challenging things, of course, is news events and knowing about them ahead of time. We're not going to know the results ahead of time, but we certainly will know when news comes out, and that's the time that we can get some moves. So usually flat for news and then react is the best way I know how to play it if you choose to play news events. Let's take a quick peek. A couple of charts that we had looked at earlier. We had suggested 80.5 would be an aggressive support, and let's use that 78 as our normal support. And choppy. And then we get a news event. ADP, not much, but then we get 8:30 news that comes out, and we get a pull. And normally, first pullbacks are buyable. So they had two closes. The first one is at 9:15, at 4:15. Was 91.5. That gap has been closed, and the day opened back in that 86.75 area. So we thought the core, obviously this 82 to 85 would be a very important idea, and it proved to be so. And I had suggested that the first rotation we needed to resolve would be right here by this 84. Basically because of yesterday's low. If you'll remember that post, I said, okay, this is support still until we re-break that 83. So this is a little head fake, and then they jack it up, and here we are at the open. So make sure you're paid if you're long. If you you probably didn't catch the first move, but certainly you had an opportunity if you wanted to buy the pullback and then try to shoot and close the gap at the 91.5. And the convenient trade, of course, today was to buy and hope that the buy would work to at least get you back into that 88 to 89 area, and then who knows from there. So let's look at a couple of quick things before the open. Show that chart that I had posted. Drag that one out if I can. Okay, and this was the chart that I had posted where I thought first support and next resistance would be. So if we pull back this direction, that would be our first support at the 79, 78 area. And then obviously this 91 target, the 92 up here, and that would close the gap if we got here. So at this point, obviously, we're looking to the next zone, which is the 95. I did post that I thought the last reaction high was 96, and then obviously this 92 area at the close. So that's first. You got to get above that before you even think about the one up here at 96. So using this as a guide, bottom line, I felt this 83 to 87. This was the core rotation that needed to be resolved before anything else. And then once it holds this 83, yesterday's low, and drives up here, then the next target obviously will be the top two boxes. So this frame that I'm showing you is from the low of that plunge to yesterday's high bounce, and then all I've done is use the widget to show us what I thought would be the next dynamic in play. So very helpful chart, I think. And you're not going to catch that news if you're sidelined. You're not going to catch it. So realistically, you can either react and play a short side, or better yet, try to buy a first pullback, because they're usually buyable. Anyways, that's what I had in mind, and why I posted that in that room earlier ahead of the news. So this is the day's range. We can see 87 is the middle, makes perfect sense, because they had opened up last night, much lower than And sometimes they do that just to create some kind of an edge. So really, we're still inside yesterday's range. We still have to, negotiate that idea. Suggested that you keep an eye on this 15-minute chart. We're back up here to our rain line. And I think today already, if you've played and got a few chips this morning, decide when you want to deploy them. We're going to have an open somewhere near the gap close. And as such, that makes it less likely to have good odds right at the open. So anybody long side should be covering by now. And remember the goal. Try to take a few chips out of the market every day. Here's our profile chart. And we're taking a look at, obviously, traders are going to be looking at that 95 to 92.5 zone. If they're using this chart, they're going to be looking back here at 85, 75. I suggested make sure that 83 was our idea. Anytime we break the low and then climb back up above it, I want to keep that low as my base idea. Maybe just below it, split the difference between these two and think, okay, 82. No, 83 and 81 is 82. Average it in. So 82 still has our base support. And obviously just below us at 79 to 78. So a good trade if you took part of this, buying back in. And then as we get closer to the open, somebody that had a good trade wants profits, and that usually causes a bleed back right now. So these are reactionary trades. Anybody that's shorting, just trying to grab a point or two for the open. So here's today's range. Let's take a look at this chart. Green, yellow, red. So I said still using 2802 resistance, 9802 resistance, and then paid for sure by this 92 to 93. Okay, this is an important chart for us. And you can see where I got that idea of 80.5 as, let's use that aggressive support right here in this chart. So we're in these two boxes. That's all we know. And I'm trying to dialogue this so you can see that I'm just not picking numbers out of the air. I'm using objective criteria to suggest these ideas of where we may or may not be going. So up here, you can see the last resistance yesterday, 96 area, and that's still in control for now. So a good possibility that this 91 is going to be pivotal for now. And anybody that is coming backwards, remember, thrust is up right now till you take out the low. And that means, obviously, pullbacks will probably be bought. First pullback, second pullbacks usually. And then if we're wrong, then okay, they got you. Dan, you asked about, do we have a demon yet? I said no. Now we do, right here at 90.75. Angel back here, 82.75, led me to believe that perhaps that 83 was an important idea still. Always looks easy in hindsight. Try to remember, we're not going to catch all of these moves. We're not going to catch anywhere near all these moves. Taking a look at a little bit larger perspective. Knocked out the high, and then we've come back all the way back to 40 back, not quite. And we're still in middle territory here. I'm going to think conservatively today as well, because the overnight range has been fairly tight, just like yesterday. So two-way day, I'm thinking, but going to give an edge to the longs as long as the 83 is held, 83, 82 is held. And that's a big if. Got the open coming up. And anybody that plays this open, think about it just for a point or two. The reason I say that is because we're just so tight to that gap. This is a 30-minute chart. Support back here, I think, at 68. And I want to keep an eye on this today as well. And this is an RTH chart. So we drill it back to a 15. And we can drill it back to a 5, which is our base chart. And my guess is today will probably be over and under. So yesterday's high is still resistance for now. Boys have to knock that out. But this last high up here at the end of the day is clearly resistance till broken. And if you're conservative, stay sidelines for a couple of minutes.